Hello everybody, this is Hero. This is my New Game Plus, Soul Level 6, no damage, pure Black World tendency playthrough of Demon Souls. First we're going to Shrine of Storms here, and because we've already killed Black Phantom Satsuki, we don't have to worry about him, but because we don't have to worry about him, we also now have to worry about activating Hyper Mode. And activating Hyper Mode, you have to basically do it with the skeletons here, this single skeleton, and because these skeletons are so aggressive, they are ridiculously aggressive actually. I'm not sure if I quite agree with how they're designed, especially the fact that they damage you with their roll, and they do so much stamina damage. And what irks me about the fact that they damage you with their roll is that they cover a lot of distance with it really fast, and it's hard to get away. So, and the fact that it's not even like, it's not even insignificant amounts of damage. This damage on New Game Plus with a 90% physical block shield, it takes off a decent amount, and the fact that they can hit you with it twice, just like before you've even known what's happened, really, is just icing on the cake for them, because they don't even really have to hit you with their sword if they don't want to. But they can, and they will, and just because they hit your shield doesn't mean that they'll rebound like a lot of the other enemies in this game do. That usually they'll just move into the second hit of their combo, and the second hit of their combo is always a little stronger than the first one, so they end up doing even more damage to you, and it's hard to ration out the damage that they do to you in order to activate Hyper Mode like that. But this is just me complaining about the fact that I've chosen to do a specific challenge, and this challenge was currently, when I was trying to activate Hyper Mode, kicking my ass, so this is why you're listening to me complain. Now I do apologize about what just happened there. I was just standing around for no reason, apparently just looking at the sky or looking at the tree or whatever the fuck I was looking at. If you see me, if you see me at any point just while I'm talking, and perhaps while you're listening to me, or if you're just watching the challenge without the audio, then if I ever stop just moving around, I was probably either having a drink or checking my phone. And this is funny because I never thought I'd really be the person to say that, because I'm not really a phone-centric person. I don't talk to 50 million people at once. I don't have a social circle the size of China. I don't have that kind of I don't have that kind of network to tap into. I just have a couple of people that I talk to a lot, so there's that. And what I'm doing is I'm just hitting the skeletons with an arrow, then running back to this rock, and then because the bow does so much damage and I've got the Thief's Ring as well, they usually tend to lose aggro from me before I get to this rock, and then I can just fire at them while they're walking away and kill them. Additionally, I do apologize if you can hear any noise while this recording's going on, but it's a bit thunderstormy and a bit rainy outside. It was much more thunderstormy before. It was quite loud, and I needed to do this commentary today because, well, frankly, I'm in the mood for it, and I'm actually getting some sort of a workflow and getting a little bit of a backlog of videos so that I can actually submit something every day for at least a while, at least until this series is over, and then I'll probably start on some Dark Souls PvP stuff like I've always wanted to. But yeah, so if you managed to hear anything, I'm sorry, but I can't control the weather. I went outside and I yelled at the clouds, but then they yelled back and I went back inside and I felt scared. So here we have me just taking care of some archers. So yeah, this is 4-1, this is Shrine of Storms, and this video is actually going to have all three parts of Shrine of Storms. They have 4-1, 4-2, and 4-3 as well. And the thing with Shrine of Storms is that it can be a lot longer than this. Like, right now, I can't remember exactly the legitimate way through Shrine of Storms 4-1, because I always take the shortcut, and I always have right after my first playthrough every time, because even just for crystal lizard farming, because the way I take the shortcut, there's I think a couple of crystal lizards on the way. And it really is just the fact that after you kill that skeleton that I just killed, and provided you've killed the other ones as well, you don't have to kill anything else. You just go over to here, make this simple roll, and then drop down. And if you follow this path and follow it to the left, and you go through a little tiny tunnel, then you'll be right at the Adjudicator boss fog. This is one of those situations where I'm not necessarily annoyed by the fact that I can do this kind of a fantastic shortcut, but I'm not exactly happy with the fact that FromSoft have left such a big way to get through the level in, because obviously this isn't what you're meant to do. This doesn't feel like you were supposed to be able to make that jump. I feel like that was a bit of a mistake in the terrain. And I was going to say that this is a bit like the fact that you can do the catacombs jumps in the catacombs to get down to Pinwheel really fast, and instead of going around and picking up all the goodies and finding everything and all that kind of business, you can just take the little drops and heal, and then suddenly you're basically at the boss fog after a little run. And after saying, this is kind of like that, this is exactly like that. And the fact that this happened also in, basically the undead sort of part of the game is, I guess it's a bit of a coincidence, but I just like that little note. But as you can see, I just died against the Adjudicator. Not exactly my proudest moment, but because Adjudicator is ridiculously easy at points. You basically just drop down, always dodge to the side that he's not swinging from, and then just attack that wound in his front. And with the Falcon especially, it takes that no time at all. And then, just look at the damage that I'm doing. He just fell forward and then he died, and that was it. And I would like to know exactly what Adjudicator is, because he didn't look anything like any of the other things that were around here. He didn't look like a skeleton. He didn't even really look undead. He's just a big fat blob with a bird on his head for some reason. And his boss music is terrible as well. This is a big thing for me, because going from Dark Souls to Demon Souls, one of the things that really made you feel that the game was a bit older than it perhaps felt like was the fact that the music was a bit basic, I suppose. I know for their first title in the Souls series, they didn't necessarily would be able to afford a whole orchestra or anything to get this ball rolling, but this is it felt like some of these boss battles are so great, and the boss music can be so relaxed and just almost non-existent if you've got the sound effects up at all. It confuses me, because I like in Dark Souls how when you walk into the Ornstein and Smough fight, it really feels epic, because all those instruments start up and the vocalists start singing, and it's a lovely experience. My favorite song from Dark Souls was the Great Grey Wolf Sif boss fight music, because it's just it's really intense, but it's also really mysterious, and it's sad, and it gets really powerful at points, and it gets really soft with the harp, and it's just a really nice piece of music. And in general, most of the Dark Souls music is very nice, except for, I think, what was his name? The Moonlight Butterfly and Gwendolyn, because Gwendolyn and the Moonlight Butterfly share the same. They share the same. What do they call? They share the same boss music. For some reason, I guess they ran out of time, or the Moonlight Butterfly was a bit of a secondary thing that they said, oh well, we need a boss for this area, and they took that enemy and basically just put him in there and they had already ordered all their music and had it finalized, so they just reused a track. And the reason I don't like Gwendolyn's theme is because it's really, really high pitched, just singing all the time. It's going from like high to low to high to low to high to low, and it's really irritating. But the thing that I really hate with this game is that you have some fantastic bosses. Just I think some of the bosses in Demon Souls are much better than they were in Dark Souls, but their music lets them down so much. Like, I would enjoy Flame Lurker so much more if his theme song didn't sound like someone farting into your ear, you know? And this is something I really hope, really hope from the bottom of my heart that they don't mess up in Dark Souls 2. I would love if all the music was fantastic and appropriately epic and or creepy or quiet if it had to be, because I know that it doesn't all have to be all loud and whiz bang and amazing for it to be good music, because I know that Pinwheel's track is actually probably one of the strongest and honestly creepiest music tracks that you probably only hear for about 20 seconds because Pinwheel's so easy to beat, but it's a really, really good piece of music, and it didn't even really seem like he deserved it necessarily. So when you see in Demon Souls that bosses that really did deserve to have a good, have a really good song, like the Flame Lurker, or what's another really terrible, Man-Eaters. The Man-Eaters have it's not absolutely terrible, it's almost not there. I feel like they need a better, or at least a more creepy kind of theme song. But anyway, the fact that From Software managed to focus on keeping their boss battles sounding really epic in Dark Souls was just, it's fantastic, and I hope it continues for Dark Souls 2, because I think it could have it's going to be a fantastic game. It's going to be all the beta footage we've seen so far and the network testing that's gone on. Some of it's looking interesting, and some of the animations are looking a bit floaty and unfinished. But it's how many months before the game comes out? It's like 5 months, and I think they're about ready to. They're still doing some animation tweaking and that sort of a thing at the moment, hopefully, because God, does some of the walking in the beta look a bit weird. But it makes me hopeful. It really, really does. Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to Dark Souls 2, as so many people are. And it's October 1st today, so you can get a bit of a window into when this was actually recorded. It'll probably just go up a couple days after this, maybe tomorrow, maybe no, because I've already got one waiting. It'll probably go up the day after tomorrow, and that means that if it goes up, that'll supposedly be that'll be on the 3rd of October, so that'll be about 9 days before the beta starts. The Dark Souls 2 beta network testing beta starts on the 12th of October, and I don't know if anyone's gotten their beta codes yet. They might have, and I'm a bit, if everyone has already started to get their beta codes, I think I would have heard something about it. But I'm so excited. I signed up with my account, and I'm thinking that perhaps maybe the participants are being selected on both a regional thing, and like if they've gotten an amount of trophies in Demon Souls or Dark Souls or something. That's probably how I would choose participants for a beta. But it might just be completely random. It might just be a complete lottery. The person who manages to get in gets in, and that's all that matters. Which is honestly what I'm hoping for. I really want to play the beta. It looks, like I said before, it looks kind of janky, but at the same time, it really looks like something that I want to play, even just to be able to get used to moving around in the game world before before the game actually comes out, so that not so they necessarily have an upper hand, but when you get the full game, you're not just wandering around during that awkward phase where you're trying to... Because everyone had that awkward phase when they started Dark Souls. They went, what right shoulder button is to attack, and they've obviously changed some buttons, and with the dual wielder guy especially, and the sorcerer, it's apparently they got charge attacks for spells, which they never had before, and they also have the dual wield stance, which apparently modifies your attacks. There's going to be, if you can just play it on your account, without having to do the actual network testing thing that they're planning, then there are going to be so many people getting so good at that beta that even the people that are recording it, by the time the games come out and their NDA is probably used up or whatever, they'll be able to upload the footage they got from the beta, probably doing perfect runs or never leveling up or whatever the hell. I'm just looking forward to it. So, as you may or may not have noticed while you were watching the video, if you're watching the video, then I've been taking care of the Grim Reapers in this area with a bow. And I've been taking care of them with a bow because the spectral guys are dicks, and I feel like I'm making a habit out of saying I did this area with a bow because it was hard. And, well, honestly, it was. That's my answer. I'm sticking to it. It was hard, so this is how I did it. If you're wondering what I'm doing at the moment, there are 2 Black Phantom golden skeletons just up ahead, and I tossed a soul remains, and these soul remains are an item that the enemies in, I think enemies in other worlds are also attracted to them, but they'll run up and attack them as if they were an enemy for some reason. And what you can do is throw them and shoot at the enemy while they're aggroed at the soul remains, and they won't notice that you're there until, unless you hit them 4 or 5 times and their aggro is worn off already. And this is really awkward because I just thrown soul remains at the wall and gone ah, and had to run away because the Black Phantom was coming my way. And these guys have about, I think, 2200 health each, so they take about 4 or 5, maybe 6 shots each. So I know the regular golden skeletons take 2 or 3 arrows in this ultra hyper mode. So I'm just awkwardly trying to take care of this guy with arrows. And the good thing about this is that after this guy's taken care of, there's only one more Black Phantom in the world, and it's unfortunately a dual katana Black Phantom, one of those black skeletons with the 2 swords. And I'm looking around at the moment because no, I'm not looking around yet, and I'm focusing on the job at hand. As I'm looking around, and this is where I got up to the point. This is, you take care of this guy and you walk through the next room with all the slugs in it, and then you're at the boss. You're at the old hero boss fog. And that's why it's really, really, really tense when you get up to this point, and you get hit in the back when you're using the Thief's Ring. And so the first thing I did when I came back and did all of that area again, I killed as many of the Storm Beasts as I could with my arrows, and then decided, right, this is time to take care of the Black Phantom now. And this is such an awkward, protracted series of events, because he leaps out of frame and I can't hit him with the arrows, and he doesn't really attack the soul remains, and he de-aggroes them really fast, so now I'm just going, oh shit, and running away. And because there's no little ledge to climb up onto, you can't just hide on top of the ledge and wait for him to come by, so here's me thinking that it's all okay and walking forward, and where is he? Oh, he's up there, okay. And the thing is with these enemies is that sometimes they tend to just disappear from view, like that, what are they called? What's she called? The Black Phantom NPC in the Tower of Latria that you have to kill, that you get the baby's nail from. Oh, she like how she can just fire at you from before she's even been drawn in your world, because apparently she's wearing the thief's ring or something. And these enemies, sometimes they can do the same thing. And at the moment, just to make sure that he's being kept busy, I've just been throwing soul arrows and throwing soul remains and then hitting him with arrows, and thankfully he took a swing that carried him off the edge. And actually, I tell a lie. See, if I hadn't taken care of that Grim Reaper with the bow from across the stairs, then I would have had to have dealt with him and one of those laser beam spirit guys that complete dicks, because I still don't know how to avoid taking damage against them. I still don't know. It's really embarrassing, because the only way I can get through that area without taking damage is by killing that Grim Reaper with a bow. So if I had restricted myself to all melee, I think Shrine of Storms would have been that level, that level that I kept fucking up on because it felt really impossible. In this room that we just passed through with all the white spermy things floating around, that was the room where you can pick up a bunch of sticky white stuff, and you can also pick up the Hiltless and I think a couple of souls on the ground as well if you bother to drop into the pools. But this is the old hero boss fog, and the cutscene to fight him doesn't actually play until you get a bit into the area. See, I expected it to start then and just walk back, and I wondered if I had to take the center, but then I remembered, no, I triggered it the right side, I just barely didn't walk forward enough. And thankfully, this was the first time that I actually ran into the old monk on this playthrough. This is the first time I saw him. Sorry, old monk. That's Tower of Latria, the old hero. This is the old hero. This is the first time that I faced him, and luckily it was the time that I won as well. Because he's not that difficult. He can be a bit random, but as long as you don't run around all the time and roll around him all the time and just generally let him know where you are, because he's blind, you can just hit him once, then run away, then hit him again, and hit him once, run away, then once he's calmed down a bit and he's started his animation for the next attack, you can just come in and hit him again. Then rinse and repeat for the entire boss battle. And it kind of feels like he gets a little bit aggressive towards the end when his HP starts to dip a bit, but not as much as like the Flame Lurker, because if you have faced the Flame Lurker before, then you'll know that he has pretty much 3 distinct stages. He has the beginning stage where he'll do some explosion attacks at the beginning, and he'll also try to hit you with his claws. And then his second stage, he'll only try to hit you with his claws and very rarely, very, very rarely, do explosions. And he'll also start doing a new jump attack that you have to learn how to avoid. And then in his third stage, he'll start spamming explosions and doing the jump attack and doing melee attacks. So he's got these 3 distinct stages that are different, and that's what makes him a good boss, because you actively have to learn to manage the different stages of that fight. Whereas old hero, as long as you don't get greedy and attack him 2 or 3 or 4 times once you get up to him, there's not really much to it. You just kind of make sure that you don't run around him, and just once he's taken a swing, because he's already in that animation, he can't really cancel out of it too quickly, you just run in and capitalize on it. And on the note of boss music again, the old hero's boss music is so disappointing. It's so understated and not even there really. It's just like a simple drum beat and a little bit of the fake sounding trumpets they've got, and it's so just disappointing. I wish, because this boss battle looks so cool. He's got such a great sword, and it's such an interesting concept. The fact that he can't see, and all he has to listen to you move around, and I don't know. I like the concept of the battle, like with most of the Demon Souls bosses. No, actually, that's a lie, because I hated the Adjudicator one, because I don't get it. I don't get Adjudicator, like, I don't get him from a canonical standpoint, like what he means in the lore, and I just think he's a bad boss. But this is a good boss. It's an exploitable boss, because once you know that once you attack him again while he's in that screaming animation, then he tends to home in on you a bit. But yeah, it wasn't really all that hard. It's just tense, because it was the first time that I faced him, and I thought, oh, well, I bet even after having gone through all those skeletons before, I'll have to do this again. But no, you revived. I'm done. And this was basically 4-2. This was 4-1 and 4-2, and see, this is one of the things where you think, well, okay, that was a bit arduous. That was 4-1 and 4-2, and I wonder what 4-3 is going to have in store for me. But when you look down the hallway, there's another boss fog up there, and you're going, okay, I just enter into a new area, and presumably this is a bit more of an outside area because I can see daylight. But no, it's just a boss, and if you're like me, then not if you're like me. It's got nothing to do with me. If you've already done the normal new game and this is new game plus, then you've already got the sword, the storm ruler, that makes it possible for you to be able to take care of this boss. And I just went and got it from Stockpile Thomas, and then I went and killed myself a bunch with the Stone of Ephemeral Eyes to make sure that I was back down to pure Black World tendency. And this is a curious thing, because the Storm Ruler is a weapon that normally when you enter this area you have to run down and dodge all the projectiles from the Storm Beasts that are out with this huge Storm Beast, the Storm King, and you find the Storm Ruler buried in the rocks up near the edge of the cliff, and you're supposed to take that and fight the Storm Beasts that are flying up through the sky. And in my first playthrough, unfortunately, I already knew that the Storm Ruler, the Storm Ruler sword existed, and I knew exactly where it was because I'd already seen it in a video, which is something I wish I could take back. I wish I could have played this game blind, but you can't really change that. When you've been as interested in Dark Souls as I have been for the past ages, you tend to just go craving other things, and the fact that Demon Souls was so similar, and the fact that I didn't really own it yet, and I wanted to, I really wanted to. It was just, this is what I did. I looked at Let's Plays and walkthroughs and that kind of a thing. Just not necessarily walkthroughs, because nearly everyone who says that their Demon Souls walkthrough is a walkthrough it's really just a Let's Play, because they leave in the deaths and they leave in everything else, and it's not a walkthrough. To me, a walkthrough is meant to be getting you from point A to point B with the least amount of struggle possible. It's not, hey, watch me figure out where to go as I'm telling you how to beat this game. Because odds are that if you have any brain cells, you might be a little bit more intelligent than the person that's actually trying to teach you how to supposedly play this game, and it's really of no help. So labeling it as a walkthrough, if you label your Let's Plays as a walkthrough, you're a bad person. I'm sorry. And I'm going on this little tirade because this part of the boss battle is boring, because literally what you have to do, because the Storm King just fucks off and stays up where you can't actually hit him with the Storm Ruler, you have to kill a few of his buddies until he'll come down and go, oh, alright, you guys aren't doing it very well, and then he'll drop down and you can actually start to kill him. And Storm Ruler is one of the few bosses that was actually a lot easier in New Game Plus than he was in the normal. Whoa, what the fuck just happened there? I was moving against the geometry, and then I sort of warped forward a bit. That was weird. Anyway, you have to just, because I didn't have the Morion blade, but I still did this in hyper mode when I came through the first time. Because I didn't have the Morion blade, because the Storm King gives you the soul that you need to make the Morion blade, I wasn't doing as much damage as I'm doing now, and the chunks of life that I was taking off in my first playthrough were actually smaller than the chunks that I'm taking off now, even while he has an inflated health pool. But I enjoy Storm King's theme music. I think it's not a bad piece of music, especially compared to some of the other ones that are featured in the game. But I'm being very negative about the music, and I'm not necessarily. I don't feel like it's all terrible. I just think there are some really, really bad examples for really, really good bosses, and a really, really good example for perhaps a mediocre boss was actually the Maiden Australia, or however you want to pronounce it. Her boss music is fantastic. I love it. It's one of the best tracks on the soundtrack. Next to hers, I like King Allen's, old King Allen's boss music, and I also like what are they called? I also like the ending music, the song that plays at the end of the game, and I think from really they focused on that, and they did that really well. They repeated it again in Dark Souls, getting that ending song down really well, because it really just finishes off like that sense of relief after a long struggle is done, and everything's taken care of. And just look at this damage, by the way. If I'd have been able to take another shot without maybe risking myself, I would have. Yeah, see, what I would have need to have done is just run forward a bit and tried that, but I didn't. But yeah, he's almost dead. He's one hit away from being dead, and that is a long tail. The cool thing about after beating this area, this boss, is that you can warp back anytime you want from the Nexus, and all the Storm Beasts will be back again. The Storm King won't be there, obviously, because you killed him, but all the Storm Beasts will be there, and with the Storm Ruler, you can just easily kill them all, and they give you a really nice amount of souls, especially in NG+, because the price for things like arrows don't change in NG+, they stay the same, so you end up earning a lot of souls, and that's exactly how I managed to afford to refill all my arrows. Anyway, that was the end of Storm King, and that was the end of Shrine of Storms, actually. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which I think will be... yeah, we'll be taking on the Tower of Latria. That's 2-2 and Man-Eaters, and probably Old Monk as well. So I will see you in the next video.